Most men live their entire lives reacting. Reacting to attention, reacting to silence, reacting to approval and rejection. And they never stop to ask a dangerous question. Who is really in control here? Before we begin, understand this. This message is not entertainment. It is a correction. If you believe men need clarity, discipline, and emotional strength more than ever, then take a moment now to subscribe and share this video with someone who is still confused. Not for ego, not for numbers, but because wisdom only works when it is passed forward. Now listen carefully. There is a truth most men learn too late, and once it is understood, the emotional game changes forever. Not because you become cruel, but because you stop being controllable. Stoicism was never about suppressing emotion. It was about mastery. And mastery begins with awareness. The first Stoic realization: love is not a promise, it is a response. Most men are raised on a comforting lie, that if you are loyal, if you give enough, if you sacrifice deeply, love will remain constant. But Stoics did not believe in comforting lies. They believed in reality. And reality shows something uncomfortable. Affection often increases when you are strong. It softens when you hesitate, and disappears when you lose direction. This is not evil. This is not malice. This is human nature. Marcus Aurelius warned us, do not expect the world to be fair. Expect it to be predictable. Once a man understands this, he stops giving blindly. He stops confusing effort with value. And he begins watching actions instead of listening to words. Words are cheap. Behavior is expensive. A Stoic judges connection not by affection on good days, but by respect on difficult ones. This does not make him bitter. It makes him grounded. And grounded men are not easily manipulated. Why most men lose power without realizing it. Power is not dominance. Power is self-command. And most men give theirs away in pieces. Through over-explaining, through chasing reassurance, through reacting emotionally to silence. They think they are proving love, but they are actually proving dependency. Epictetus said something brutal. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Why? Because the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop chasing clarity, you regain control. Silence is not weakness. Silence is position. Stoic rule. Number 1, guard your attention. Your attention is your life. Where you place it, your energy follows. Most men spend attention like it is free. Instant replies, endless availability, constant validation. And anything given freely is rarely respected. The Stoics understood scarcity, not artificial silence, not manipulation, but intentional presence. When you respond slowly, you are not playing games. You are choosing yourself first. And when a man chooses himself, the dynamic shifts. Most men believe power comes from being understood. They explain themselves. They defend their intentions. They chase clarity when tension appears. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Power comes from self-control, not self-disclosure. Every time you over-explain, you surrender leverage. Every emotional reaction gives the other person information. And information in the wrong hands becomes control. The Stoic law of emotional economy. Emotions are energy. Most men spend them impulsively. Anger when challenged, anxiety when ignored, sadness when attention fades. The Stoic does not deny these emotions, he observes them. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Bravery is not shouting. Bravery is restraint. When you do not react immediately, you regain choice. And choice is freedom. Why? Reaction is a form of weakness. Reaction means someone else sets the tempo of your life. Their mood dictates yours. Their silence controls your thoughts. Their approval defines your worth. That is not connection. That is captivity. A Stoic understands this deeply. He slows down where others speed up. He pauses where others panic. He stays centered when others collapse emotionally. This is why calm is misunderstood. Calm is not indifference. Calm is dominance over the self. And self-dominance terrifies those who rely on emotional leverage. The power of silence, used correctly. Silence is dangerous when misunderstood. Most men use silence as punishment. The Stoic uses silence as alignment. Silence gives space for observation. When someone pulls away, do not chase. When tone changes, do not demand explanations. When energy shifts, do not negotiate your worth. Pause, observe, hold your ground. That pause is not emptiness. That pause is power. Why unreadable men are respected. Predictable men are easy to control. If anger always appears on cue, it can be triggered. If reassurance always follows silence, it can be exploited. If attention is guaranteed, it loses value. Unreadable men disrupt this system. They do not reward bad behavior with emotion. They do not beg for understanding. They do not reveal their inner state under pressure. This creates uncertainty, and uncertainty commands respect. Epictetus warned us, if someone can provoke you, they control you. The unreadable man cannot be provoked. The Stoic response to emotional pressure. When emotions are used as weapons, most men surrender. Guilt, withdrawal, mood shifts, passive aggression. These tactics only work on men who need approval. The Stoic does not argue with emotions. He does not chase resolution. He remains steady. And steadiness collapses manipulation. When emotional pressure no longer moves you, it loses its power. Stay with me, we will cover why options change everything, the illusion of scarcity, self-respect as the ultimate boundary, and why a man with choices is never desperate. Most men do not lack value. They lack options. And a man without options becomes negotiable. He tolerates behavior he should walk away from. He accepts inconsistency as normal. He stays silent to avoid loss. This is not love. This is fear disguised as loyalty. The Stoic truth about scarcity. Scarcity is not always real. Most of the time, it is internal. A belief that this is the only chance, the only connection, the only source of affection. This belief creates desperation. And desperation kills respect faster than failure ever could. The Stoics warned against attachment to outcomes. Not because outcomes do not matter, but because attachment removes clarity. A man attached to one result will betray himself to preserve it. Why options create inner calm? Options are not about conquest. They are about freedom. When a man has options, he no longer begs for attention. He no longer fears silence. He no longer negotiates boundaries. His nervous system calms. His posture changes. His energy stabilizes. And people feel this immediately. This is why a man with choices appears confident without trying to be. How options are actually built. Options are not luck. They are constructed through discipline, through purpose, through physical strength, through competence and consistency. The Stoics believed in daily refinement, not sudden transformation, but quiet, relentless improvement. A man who respects himself naturally attracts alternatives, not because he seeks validation, but because he radiates stability. The most dangerous illusion, the most dangerous belief a man can hold is this: I cannot afford to lose this. The moment you believe that, you have already lost yourself. The Stoic asks a different question. What part of this costs me my dignity? And if the cost is self-respect, he walks away. Not in anger, not in drama, but in silence. Why desperation is always visible. Men believe desperation is hidden. It is not. It leaks through tone, through timing, through over-availability, through the fear of saying no. And once it is felt, respect fades. The Stoic avoids desperation by building a life that does not depend on any single person. At the center of every powerful man is one unbreakable principle. Self-respect comes first. Not love, not validation, not connection. Without self-respect, everything else becomes unstable. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed a man who abandons his values for comfort has already lost the war within. Why most men betray themselves. Most men do not lose respect suddenly. They trade it away slowly. They stay quiet when disrespected. They accept excuses instead of accountability. They tolerate behavior they would never allow from themselves. Why? Because they fear loss more than dishonor. Epictetus warned against this. If you want to be respected, first respect yourself. No negotiation. Boundaries are not emotional reactions. Most men misunderstand boundaries. They think boundaries are arguments, ultimatums, raised voices, threats of leaving. That is not a boundary. That is emotional leakage. A Stoic boundary is calm, clear, and enforced through action, not explanation. You do not argue your standards. You live them. The Stoic rule of access. Access is a privilege. Most men treat it like a right. Unlimited availability, unlimited tolerance, unlimited forgiveness without change. The Stoic does the opposite. Access is earned. Respect maintains access. Disrespect reduces it. Repeated disrespect ends it. No speeches, no revenge, no emotional display. Just consequence. Why walking away is the ultimate power. Walking away is not abandonment. It is self-alignment. A man who can walk away is a man who cannot be controlled. Because control only works when you are afraid to lose. Seneca said, "He who has learned how to die has unlearned how to be a slave." To the Stoic, walking away from disrespect is a small death. And it brings freedom. The shift that people always feel. When a man enforces boundaries without anger, something changes. His presence becomes heavier. His words carry more weight. His silence becomes meaningful. People sense that he is not afraid to lose them. And paradoxically, this is when respect increases. Not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. There comes a point where a man no longer needs to win, because he's no longer afraid of losing. This is not numbness. This is emotional independence. Most men confuse detachment with coldness. But Stoic detachment is not the absence of feeling. It is the absence of dependency. What emotional independence really means. Emotional independence means your stability does not live in another person's hands. You enjoy connection, but you do not cling to it. You value affection, but you do not chase it. You welcome closeness, but you do not sacrifice yourself to keep it. This is the Stoic balance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Why chasing always weakens position. Chasing sends one message. I need this more than you do. And need creates imbalance. The Stoic does not chase. He chooses. He observes. He evaluates. He allows people to reveal themselves. And then he decides who earns continued access to his life. The end of old games. When you stop reacting, old games stop working. Silence no longer scares you. Emotional pressure falls flat. Withdrawal loses its sting, because your center is no longer external. You are not trying to be mysterious. You are simply no longer readable to manipulation. Becoming whole instead of hard. This path does not make you cruel. It makes you complete. You still feel. You still care. But your emotions are no longer weapons others can use against you. You do not detach from people. You detach from illusion. The illusion that love must be earned through self-erasure. The Stoic man's final form. The Stoic man is steady. He is selective. He is grounded. He does not rush. He does not beg. He does not explain himself to those who benefit from misunderstanding him. He lives by principle, not emotional impulse. And because of that, his presence becomes magnetic. Final Stoic reminder. You were never meant to lose yourself to be loved. You were meant to become disciplined, rooted, and whole. When you live this way, you do not demand respect. You embody it. And the world adjusts accordingly. Before you leave, understand this. Wisdom dies when it stays silent. Everything you heard today is not meant to sit quietly in your mind. It is meant to strengthen men who are still confused, reactive, and losing themselves. If this message grounded you, if it reminded you who you are meant to be, then do not keep it to yourself. Share this video, not for the algorithm, but for the man who is one moment away from making a weak decision he will regret for years. Like this video so this wisdom reaches those who need discipline, not noise. And subscribe, not as a favor to this channel, but as a commitment to your own growth. Because a man who trains his body but neglects his mind will always be vulnerable. This channel exists to restore clarity, strength, and self-command in a world that profits from weak men. If you believe that matters, your action now is part of something larger than you. Stay disciplined. Stay grounded. Stay stoic. And help keep this wisdom alive.